everybody, and welcome back to Devils United. We're back again for another preview, and this is for the biggest game in the Premier League, Liverpool versus Manchester United. And I've got a good mate with me here, Jamie. Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you very much, Maisy. I'm looking forward to this preview, the two biggest teams in English football.
Exactly. No one can tell us any different. This is the biggest game, without a doubt.
Yeah, miles. Yeah, Man City. No, nowhere near.
Even if they want to force a rivalry with you, they're not having
Nowhere
it.
near. Nowhere near.
Before we get on to the preview, I'll jump into the comments, say hi to people. Good evening, Redbird. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. And I feel complimented, Redbird, as well. Coming from a Liverpool fan, that I'm your favourite United fan. I'm touched. Hey there, Rather. Good evening. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. Good evening, Reese. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. Good evening, Luca. Hope you're well. I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for coming in. Good evening, Niall. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. Football Power Hour. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. Good evening, Lennon. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. And hey there, I like coffee. Thank you for coming in as well. Hope you are well. So I've already highlighted Ravi's question, so we'll go on to it a little bit later on. I don't know how you're gonna feel about my question in terms of Liverpool. How you think you're getting on? Like, I know you've not had the best of seasons, so I just wanted to see for you what you thought of this season. Where do you think has gone wrong for Liverpool as well?
Well, this season's shocking. The whole team is shattered. I think the manager's tired as well. I think last season did knock it out of us. And investment in the team never came. No, so we needed some serious investment this summer just to keep us going, because this season was always going to be difficult after what we tried to do last season. And I think the years of competing with Man City have got on top of us there as well. So, yeah, we needed serious investment, but still, that shouldn't mean where we are in the league. That's not good enough. That's down to look. The manager's got to take some blame. I love the guy, but he does have to take some blame. The players massively. The players are getting away with it at the moment. Players are getting away with it because no one ever questions players. It's owners and managers, but no, the players are not quite at it. Managers not been good enough. The ownership not investing. It's been a calculation of a lot of things. It's very, Liverpool fans don't want to talk about it, but it has been a transitional year for Liverpool because we've changed the way we play slightly as well. The sign of Darwin Núñez, Mane leaving the club. It's always but it was always going to be hard to do what we've done the last few years in this season, but I did expect us to fall this badly, though.
Absolutely, and I do agree with what you're saying as well. I think there is a mixture of everything. Looking from outside it, from my opinion, there is a mixture of a lot of things. Like we've heard a lot of like FSG out with Liverpool fans as well, having the stance on social media, and I can see why they want that, just because of the poor investment, especially in that midfield area. You have, from what I can think of, that you haven't really had that much midfield investment under Klopp. It's been mostly invested into the forward players, and for me, getting someone like Darwin Núñez, because I've watched a lot of the Portuguese league, so I've always said I didn't want him at Manchester United because we wasn't in a good place in the summer. We had a brand new manager, and I said he's not going to suit us. Just the way he played, I said if he was going to go to any Premier League club, he needs to go to a manager who will be able to develop him very well, and that would be either Pep or Klopp, because you've seen Klopp develop some fantastic players over the years. What I've said is, for Darwin's first season, you need to change the formation. You can't continue to play in that 4-3-3 system, and I think that 4-3-3 system is really taking a toll into the midfield area now, because the midfield are all over the age of 30, apart from Harvey Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, the midfield is the midfield, as I think Thiago's been our only midfield signing in 3 or 4 years. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't know who to blame for the midfield. I talk about this on my channel a lot.
Mm.
A lot of Liverpool fans, we all talk about it, but you know, because we do buy players in every position. We bought I think 3 or 4 forwards in the last 18 months. So we buy forwards, and there's something with the midfield that Klopp. Look, Klopp is very protective of his players. Like he's he rates it's what it is with Klopp. He's got players that he absolutely loves and adores, and they brought him success, and he stands by them. That's why if you're a player, you love playing for him because he'll stand by you. And
Mhm.
he got you this success, so he doesn't want to just drop these players when they got they say trust them. The problem is he's admitted it himself now, Klopp, in a way that his trust is he's never going to stop trusting players, but he probably does have to be a bit more ruthless in certain areas of the pitch, and the midfield is one of them. It's always letting us down at the moment. We need a centre back as well because Matip and Gomez are not the players they were. We've got Kanate and Van Dijk in there, which when you keep them fit and they play more together, they're going to be fine. But we need another centre back there. We need midfielders, but
Mm.
the forward line I've got no problem with. And with Darwin Núñez, you said I love Darwin, man.
Mhm.
Liverpool fans are still 50-50 on him. I
Mm.
don't get it myself. Rival fans had their, what rival fans do, but even that's calmed down now. And I think you see Darwin the last few weeks, he's developing into a better player now. He's being coached better. He's learning better now. And for me, he's got a high ceiling. I think he's got the highest ceiling out of front, all our attackers at this club. That's including Luis Diaz, who I absolutely think is a fantastic player. But yeah, I think Darwin could be anything he wants to be. He's only 23.
Mhm.
He's got so much pace, movement, technical ability. Yeah, he just needs to work on his finishing, but that will come. And yeah, the problem with Darwin, he went to Liverpool the same year Haaland went to Man City. So
Mm.
you always gotta have that stupid comparison, and it's just mad. But no, Darwin's our best attacker at the moment. When he don't play, we miss him. Like we don't know what to do when Darwin don't play. So yeah, he's our best attacker at the moment. He's a threat. Defenders don't like playing up against him, and yeah, he's definitely our biggest future. But the midfield, yeah, that's down on the ownership and the manager. They're in that together on that one. There's both of them to blame.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think for me, looking at that Liverpool team in particular, I've got to say the player who's probably most impressed me this season has to be Harvey Elliott. The way, because he's been on loan a few times. I know he's been on loan to Blackburn. He's done well there, and he's played in the midfield, which for me, in my opinion, he's not a midfielder. He more plays in Salah's role, and I think the way he's been able to transition to the team, I think if he had more midfield options, he probably wouldn't have broke in. But
Mm.
he's made his stance. He's played a couple of times in the wing. One of them being in the FA Cup, and I think he's been a great player, and he's one for the future. Another one as well at Liverpool.
I love Harvey Elliott. Look, Harvey Elliott again. He's another one of them players that Liverpool fans are not massive on, and some Liverpool fans who don't think he's good enough and he won't be good enough. But I've always liked him. I think Harvey's a decent player. Harvey's problem is because he's quite versatile. He can play many positions,
Mm.
and he's playing midfield mostly for us. He's not really a midfielder. He's more of a right winger. That's where he's best at. But obviously, his problem is that he's got Mo Salah at right wing. So at the moment, he's been told to play central midfield, which it doesn't suit him. It's game, but he's still performing to a level there at the moment. So you can only credit him as a player that's he's decent. He's got good technical ability. He can change. You got players like Carvalho who come into this side who's same age as Harvey. The people at Fulham that I've got a mate who works at Fulham, and he told me about them both. And he said they thought Carvalho had a higher ceiling, could be a far better player than Harvey Elliott, but it looks like Carvalho can only play in one position, that number 10 role where, you can play Harvey right wing, central midfield, a more attacking midfield role. He's more versatile, and that's why he plays more at the moment, and why Carvalho's sitting on the sidelines, because we don't play over 10. We're a straight 4-3-3 team, so he's going to have to
Mhm.
wait his time. But yeah, I love Harvey. I love Harvey. He's got a bright future. I think we forget he's only 18. It's you know, there's some. people then comparing to people like Pedri and Gavi and stuff like that, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, they're freaks. You know, you got people. You got like when Mbappe came along at 16. It's just a freak. You know, if you take all the world's players in football, professionals that are 18, 19, 3 or 4 of them are going to be freak athletes, freak players like your Pedris and Gavis, and the rest of them are just going to be really good. And yeah, too many people compare Harvey and say why isn't he as good as Pedri and Gavi, and it's just a nonsense. It's just a nonsense.
Mm-hmm. You see that with Manchester United as well, with Garnacho. A lot of people like to compare with Garnacho, Gavi and Garnacho, because he done like one of them celebrations, what one of them does, and I think it's rattled quite a few Barcelona fans, if you want me to be honest. But for me, I was a bit surprised with Carvalho, because especially if you're signing him and signing Nunes, I thought surely Klopp's going to change to a 4-2-3-1 buying these two players. But but Carvalho, I know he's played, was it about a couple of games on the left wing, and it's not really suited him.
Yeah, Carvalho played left wing for a little bit. It don't. The reason it don't, it might suit him playing for another team playing left wing, but it just won't, because the way Klopp likes to play with 4-3-3, the inside forwards or wingers are meant to be explosive and quick. Yeah, that's why you're seeing Darwin Núñez playing left wing at the moment. You know, Mane before him, Luis Diaz. They're all explosive and they're quick. Mo on the right, and that's why Carvalho could work there in maybe another team in another setup or under a different manager, who might want to play a bit differently as a wide forward. But yeah, he's just not. I mean, like he's like Jack Grealish at City. He plays out wide, but you wouldn't call him quick, you know. But he's quick, but not like He ain't got that explosive pace, has he? And that's what Klopp likes. You know, the way we play. You know, when we're at our best with that high press and counter attack. You know, you want that explosiveness on the wings. Unfortunately, Carvalho's not doing that. Carvalho will be more of your creative winger, and we don't play like that at the moment. So his only place for us is the number 10 role. We played him at centre midfielder game against Everton, and he got absolutely murdered in that game. You know, because he was just too lightweight. So yeah, I think Klopp likes him, but at this moment in time, I think what Klopp's trying to do with him is just there's no point in being in the team at the moment. You know, and there's no real position for him. So I think Klopp's just, you know, getting him training, you know, and we see what happens next season. If he don't perform, if there's not a position for him next season, or he's not in the squad as much, I don't think he'll have a future. But it all depends.
It definitely does depend, and I think if, for instance, we know Klopp's going to keep that same formation, at least bring him out on loan to another Premier League club, just to see, is it because of he isn't suiting the team, or is it the fact that he's not cut out for the Premier League? Because you look at, for instance, with Manchester United's point of view, Donny. A lot of fans said, "Free Donny. Why is he not playing this guy? And he's much better than Bruno Fernandes. He can play here. He can play here. He can play here." But no matter what position he played, he wasn't cut out for it. He went on loan. He didn't suit him. So yeah, I think for me, he needs a Premier League loan to see, is it the fact it is that he doesn't suit the team, or is it the fact he doesn't suit the league?
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. Like with the Donny thing, I've been saying that for a while. You get I think Pogba was the same as well. You get players that are just are very, very good footballers, but they just don't suit the setup, the country, the league. It doesn't mean they're a bad player. Like Van der Beek's obviously a very, very good player, and get him in the right country, right setup, right league, he'll probably be a beast. But yeah, I just don't think the pace of the Premier League suits what he wants to do as a footballer. I think the same was with Pogba. And I look at Carvalho, and you could probably say, I mean, the only thing I'd say, Carvalho was excellent in the Championship the season before. He was excellent. I think we've got a young player, like up for Young Player of the Year, and in the Championship, he was fantastic. So, you know, the Championship is known for its high intensity, its pace. It's a man's league, ain't it? You know, it's all, you know, it's full contact, it's hard hitting. That's why we sent Harvey to Blackburn on loan that year. You know, sort of man him up a little bit, and it worked. So Carvalho's got that about him. So it shouldn't be too difficult to transition into Premier League football. I just literally think with Carvalho, it's the Fulham team was built around him and Mitrovic. You know, he played behind Mitrovic. That the team was built around them to get promotion, and the step up is just it's massive, and I just we don't. Klopp was known to being a 4-3-2, 4-2-3-1 man at Borussia Dortmund, but he never really ever played that at Liverpool. It's always been 4-3-3, and he changed it up a little bit in October when we started playing like 4-2-4 and 4-4-2 and stuff like that in games, and it worked a little bit. But Carvalho still really weren't getting in then either. So yeah, it is a worry. I've been saying it on my channel for a while now. I don't know if Carvalho was a Klopp signing. I think he might have been one of them Moneyball signings that FSG could do from time to time, where they see a hot young talent, buy him cheap, sell him on with a bit of profit. It could be something like that. It could be something like that.
Yeah, it is definitely a wonder, that's for sure, because as we've already mentioned how good Carvalho was, and I know a lot of teams were pretty jealous when you bought him, because you bought him quite early on. There is quite a few questions. I'll say hi to people who's in there before we get to the questions. Good evening, Paul. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. Good evening, Indian Scouser. I hope you are well. Thank you for coming in. Good evening, Andrew. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming in. No pandering, Luca. Yeah, so that's the new people, and I'll get to the questions a bit later on. The first thing I'm gonna look at is in terms of the previous game we played. We did beat you at Old Trafford, the first time we have beat you in such a long time in the Premier League. What do you think you're gonna do different this time compared to last time? But we always know Anfield is. I always say Anfield's so hard to go to. I think for me that and the Amex is probably our bogey team, our bogey grounds. I'd like to say.
Well, with Liverpool, Man United at Anfield, even when Liverpool were, when Man United were flying and winning title after year after year after year through the Premier League era, Anfield was still hard for them to come to, even when we were terrible. I remember Gary Neville talking about this and saying he hated going to Anfield, even when they knew Liverpool were nowhere near as good as them. It was a difficult place to go, really difficult. And right now, I don't know. This is a funny one because Liverpool were just obviously the Real Madrid game had come to everyone's mind, but look, it's Real Madrid at the end of the day. You don't play them every single week. You know what I mean? They're the best team in world football, but we got annihilated. But Man United coming to Anfield, Liverpool, I think have got 4 clean sheets in a row now in the Premier League, which is about time. Winning, not dropping too many points now. There's a bit of the game against Wolves the other night. I could see what a bit of the old bit of Liverpool in certain parts of that game. It's not going to come all season. We're going to just go through this season now, just picking up points. Little bits of us look like they're coming back, but I'm waiting for next season for that. This is going to be difficult because United are in amazing form right now. And I've been saying this about United for a while. I always get criticised about it. When I did my Premier League preview, I said Man United will finish 4th, right? Also said Liverpool finish in the top 3, but that's gone to crap. And by the way, Arsenal fans, I did predict you to finish 3rd, so you're doing actually better than I thought. And yeah, I thought Man United would finish in top 4 just because of the players they got and the manager they got. I've been saying this for years now, Man United. I think Man United have always had very good squads in the last few years in the Premier League, but they had a poor manager. When you haven't got the right manager set up and the right coaching at a football club, it don't matter what players you got, you're not going to succeed. And Man United have already had good players. The years under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you had a very good squad. You should have been top 4 all the time. And there are good players there. And, I don't think you were coached properly. And then you got Ten Hag in. And as soon as I saw Ten Hag come in, I went, this team's getting top 4 because they've got good players already. He's the only manager ever that has said no to Cristiano Ronaldo. No manager's ever done that, ever. And he was right. He scored 26 goals last season. You got Piers Morgan sucking him off on the regular. And then he's like, no, I don't want you. I don't want you in my football team because the problem having you here is you're not going to play every week. And if you're not playing every week, you are just moaning on the bench and that in the changing room, daily in the training ground, it's a bad atmosphere, and I don't need that. And what a move that was. That takes guts, by the way. Ronaldo's massive. He's
Mm.
commercial, what he's worth, his revenue to the club, his likeness, everything, his ego. To stand up to him and say, "No, I don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't want you." Simple as that. This team's going to be better without you. I'm actually going to get Rashford going now. Rashford is far better than Ronaldo is right now as an all-round football player. And people will go, "What are you on about, Jamie? Not Marcus Rashford. What you want? This is Cristiano Ronaldo to go, and all this crap." Yeah, Ronaldo's going on 38. Rashford is doing stuff in games right now that Ronaldo can't in the whole 90-minute match in the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
And Ten Hag saw that and built the team around him. You got, what's is it? Oh, bloody hell, Fernandez, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always said he's a good midfielder. Yes, he came in on his year under when like everyone says he scored all them goals when there was no fans and all that. Yeah, okay, he did, but he went through a purple patch when it came. But it shows he has quality, and then he dropped off a little bit because he was the scapegoat for Ronaldo. So Ronaldo popped up in the positions that he wants to pop up into, but he had to sit back more and be the supplier for Ronaldo, and that's not what his game's about. That's not his game.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're seeing a difference of him now. Ronaldo's got, and he looks more solid. Fred, who I've always said is a very good midfielder, that people sort of take the piss out of, and it ain't his fault. It's because he's got that numpty next to him.
Which one, McTominay?
Who makes him look worse,
Exactly.
Fred's decent. I said last season that Fred was Man United's player of the year for me last season. I actually thought he was really good. And he's a decent midfielder. I think he's got 6 goals this season already. He's a good player. And then obviously you got Christian Eriksen, who's a tremendous player. It makes me laugh about Christian Eriksen, though. You see that fact about Christian Eriksen, that he left Tottenham, had a heart attack and died, came back and still won the trophy before Harry Kane. It's hilarious. But you got players like that, and then he goes and buys Casemiro, and you got numpties like Graham Souness going, "Oh, I don't know, maybe he was maybe Modric and Kroos made him look like a better player." No, all right, stop. He's the best DM in the league. Yeah. He's a tremendous DM, and he's not just a DM now, he's a proper midfielder. He is the signing of, like, I'm not saying this because I'm a Man United fan, all right? I'll say it anyway. Casemiro is the signing of the summer, in my opinion. Is he 31 when you bought him? 31-year-old DM who's played most of his career in Spain around the legends of Kroos and Modric. There's no doubt about that. Come to Man United, who finished 6th last season, and he's elevated this club. Let's not pretend. He's elevated Man United to a different. And look at Rashford and other players playing well. Nacho, don't know about the hair he's got right now, but man, he's flying. I don't think enough people are giving him credit and talking about him because he's a young kid scoring goals for Man United, coming on doing the job. Ten Hag trusts him. Ten Hag substitutions have been excellent. He trusts the players he brings on that he takes off. He's doing a great job. I can't look, rivalry aside, we hate each other's clubs, but I respect what I see in front of me at the same time, and I always will say that as a football fan. I can't sit here and lie and say, "Oh, Rashford's dead food," and they're just getting lucky and all that narrative you see along line. They've been good. Martinez has been a better defender than I even thought. Varane's getting back to his old ways. Luke Shaw stopped eating the buffet and he looks better now. Wan-Bissaka, he's getting a tune out of Wan-Bissaka again. I can't sit here and go rivalry aside because I hate Man United and go, "Oh, luck." It's not. It's great coaching that I always said would happen if Man United get a great coaching. It was always my fear. That's why I want Solskjaer to stay forever. I want you to give him a 20-year contract. He can't coach. He just can't coach. And now you've got a proper coach and with proper players. Yeah, you're a scary team again. And this game on the weekend is gonna be a tough one. There's no doubt. I'm just glad that we're at home. That's all. That's all because I think that's going to help us in this game just being at home. Because if we was away, I think we'd get annihilated at the moment. I ain't lying.
Well, I agree with everything you've said. If you want me to be honest, I do think Ten Hag has been a great manager. I did like Solskjaer. I thought, oh, he's got like he's because like he went toxic under Jose in the end, and then we're like we've had serial winner managers, we've had a brand new manager, we've had a manager who's been everywhere. Why is nothing working for us? And then Ollie comes, oh, we'll try an ex-player. And then I think because he's an ex-player, it kind of people got the vibes like, oh, we beat PSG. We're literally the kings of Etihad, and people don't look at the bigger picture because we should have been winning trophies. It's not something that we didn't do, and I think Ten Hag has been absolutely spectacular. So I'm glad we did get Ten Hag because I think he would have gone. Tottenham rejected Ten Hag because he didn't speak good English, and who's laughing now?
Is that what they said?
Yeah, because his English wasn't good enough.
His English is fine. They got Conte as manager. What the?
Would you believe it?
That club, I'll tell you what, I have a soft spot for Spurs in the fact because my brother-in-law and my nephew are Spurs fans. But that club, Jesus, you turn down Ten Hag, that's just, oh, they're in the gutter, man.
We'll go into the comments, questions because there is quite a few questions. So we'll go with the first question from Rather. What do you think the strength and weaknesses is for both teams? I'll let you do your weaknesses for Liverpool. I'll do for Man United.
It'll be all night. Liverpool's weaknesses definitely in the midfield. So we play. Everyone knows how we play, right? I love the fact that people think it's because our assistant manager brought out a book and told the world how we play. Like no one watches us. It's like, what are you chatting about? You know, I'm sure Maisy could tell you how Liverpool play. I don't think she needed to read Pep Linders' book to, realise that. It's just like, I've read the book, but I've got the book. There's no secrets in there. Yeah, there's no secrets in there. No, our weakness is definitely midfield because the way we play 4-3-3, Jurgen Klopp's always been about, high risk, high reward. So we play with high pressure. You have a fit Van Dijk and whoever next to him, pressing. So basically the attack press. So Salah last season, Salah, Mane, Luis Diaz, Salah, Mane, Bobby, whoever it was, presses from the front. The midfield then follows the front three press, and then the two centre backs follow that press. That allows Robbo and Trent to do what they do. And we'd win second balls back. Liverpool don't win second balls back no more because the problem is we've got Darwin in who don't really press. He wants to run into space. You've got Gakpo in, who we're playing as a false nine at the moment, who's a left wing. I don't get like. And then you've got Salah in, who Salah, but his form is not been great, and he's getting a little older. So things have changed there. So they're not pressing. So if they're not pressing, then you've got a midfield that have just had their legs blown from underneath them through the whole for the last 4 or 5 years. They say we haven't invested in that area, so they're all shattered. So they can't do what Klopp wanted them to do, that pressing game. And then because they can't do it, the centre backs are pressing. So everyone's still trying to do what they've been doing for years, but because they can't do it no more, it looks terrible, and that's why we're having a lot of trouble. So I think we've gone back a little bit to our line ain't as high at this moment in time. So that's gone a little bit deeper. We're a bit more compact in midfield. Stefan Bajcetic has come in and been a revelation for us in that midfield area at the moment. And he's helped out massively on the press. And so that's our weakness there. Also, our weakness is at the moment mentality. I'd actually say that's our biggest weakness at the moment is our mentality. These players have forgotten who they are, and they've forgotten what they've been doing and what they've done the last few years, and their mentality's completely left them this season. I keep saying it. There's no way. Even the players who got injured, you look at the players in our squad. Now, this squad should already be close to top four, in top four already. It's all about mentality. And, when we go a goal down no more, like the Liverpool in the last few years, if Liverpool go a goal down, you can bank your ass that they'll probably go win 2-1. That's the way Liverpool used to be. And at the moment, they haven't got the mentality to do that. So when Liverpool go a goal down right now, the opposition knows, right, they're not the team they used to be. That's get a press onto their midfield. That's press Liverpool's midfield. It'll start to crumble. Mistakes will come into their game. They give away the ball. They give us chances. They could be on for a hiding. And that's Liverpool's main weakness at the moment is their mentality.
Mm-hmm. If I was looking at the pitch for Man United, I'd say the weakness for me would be the right-hand side. I think the goals that we have leaked this season have come from the right. I think it depends on what right back we're playing. I think if we're playing Dalot, he gets easily exposed on his one-on-ones because he goes far too forward for me. I don't have a problem with him going forward, as long as he's able to be quick enough going back and he doesn't leave massive amount of spaces. And I think for me that's what he does, especially when you've got if Varane ain't playing, who's very quick centre back, you've got Maguire playing there. Maguire and Dalot. Dalot leaves a big massive space. Maguire, what am I gonna do here? It's one of them. And for me, Wan-Bissaka, even though he's gone forward a lot, he's still very, very quick at going back, and he'll be still quick enough to make a slide tackle to get in a corner or a throw in, and that's something for me I think Dalot really, really struggles with. And I think for me it says a lot because a lot of people are saying Dalot's the best right back in the world, look what he's done and all that. Wan-Bissaka,
no one says that.
Man United fans still say this. And I'll tell you something, Wan-Bissaka has got one less assist than Dalot this season. And Wan-Bissaka does not attack.
Wan-Bissaka will play Sunday, in my opinion.
I think he will as well. And another thing with the right wing for me, the right side is I think this is very 50-50 with Manchester United fans. I think Antony. I think he's a good player. I think he's got things in him, but he's still very raw for me right now. He doesn't like to cross in. When he crosses in, it's a very poor cross. He doesn't do his one-on-one. He doesn't like to take on one-on-ones. So he'd rather run to the very end, then run back, and then run back again, and then do a little skill, and then pass it back. And I think what's the point in that? There was no need. I don't think he likes passing to forward players either. If you want I've never seen him pass to Rashford, never seen him pass to Martial, never seen him pass to Weghorst. But he seems to pass to the same people. He passes to Bruno, he passes to Eriksen, Casemiro, Fred. Why are you not passing to the front three players? Is there something like some kind of competition there? Like, I want to get more goals than you, or I want to shoot from outside the box, so I've got a great goal compared to you. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't seem to like passing in that front line. And I think, is there some kind of miscommunication in the front three?
Yeah, I mean, when I watched Man United this season, obviously it's all about Rashford and that front three, but Antony, I'm not sure what kind of player he is right now. He's almost like a luxury player, if that makes sense. Because he's got all the talent in the world. There's no doubt about that. But he's one of them players that he reminds me of Rafinha a little bit. And I've said this about Rafinha as well a lot. Rafinha has all the talent in the world, but he's a player that could disappear in a few years' time that everyone will forget about. He's not even lighting up at Barca at the moment. He's struggling, and Antony reminds me of that. But I think there's a lot in Antony's game that can come in strong. You're definitely right, though. I don't know if Antony will start against Liverpool.
He will. I think he will, to be honest. Because
who else you got that can play there?
Sancho.
Yeah, and Sancho. Yeah, he'd probably be Antony and won't
He's still. Not that he's breaking in, but I think Ten Hag is still trying to lean him in gently because he's had 3 months off. He was in the Netherlands and stuff because he was struggling mentally.
I mean, on that side of the pitch could be interesting, because I think you'll probably go Wan-Bissaka because I think Darwin's probably going to play left side. And I think Darwin could eat Dalot up, but Wan-Bissaka could have his number. And then you got Robbo probably up against Anthony. It could be that could be the side of the pitch where wins or loses the game for both teams. It's both, both sides for Liverpool. Liverpool's right hand side, obviously with Trent and Mo. We know what the problems Trent's had this season. So it's similar kind of thing for both teams. That right hand side of the pitch is, could be where it's won and lost. Rashford up against Trent. I just a bit of.
How's that you're fearing?
Well, we all know what Rashford did to Trent in his debut, don't we? So, Trent still talks about that now. So, I think Trent said Rashford's the most dangerous player he's faced as well. So, he has got a lot of respect for and fear of that, Rashford. So, that side of the pitch is going to be interesting. It makes me wonder what Liverpool are going to do. This is why Man United should be heavily favourites for me. I don't, even Liverpool at home, Man United should be heavily favourites. I think Liverpool might more. Look, I think Liverpool have more weapons up front.
I agree.
I think Salah, Darwin, Gakpo, or Jota, or Bobby.
Is Firmino injured or not?
No, he's back now. He's back. But Jota, I think he's trying to get Jota into this team right now. But yeah, so I think Liverpool might have more weapons up front, but Man United got the better midfield and probably a bit of a stronger backline at the moment. Although it's weird with it because I've been arguing with people on Twitter all day. It's weird with the defence, ain't it? Because both teams have actually conceded 28 goals each this season. Exactly the same amount.
That's very interesting.
It's a weird one. Obviously, look, we got Alisson, who's the best around, and he's keeping us in a lot of games. There's no doubt. But yeah, it's going to be. I think there's a lot of interesting battles. Anthony and Robbo, Marcus Rashford and Trent, Darwin and Wan-Bissaka.
Well, Dawson Van Dijk.
And Salah and that. Do you know what though? Virgil, the reason he'll play Virgil is because he's going to try and occupy the centre backs because he ain't going to do. He's going to stick there and try and occupy Kanate and Van Dijk. That's what he's going to do. And if he can occupy them and draw them into him, it leaves space for Anthony and Rashford to run into. And then it also makes Bruno can get forward more from his midfield position and get into the spaces that he needs to drive with the ball. So yeah, Virgil's playing. It's a clever signing actually. I don't think that's got enough credit. People look at it and go, "Oh, an ex-Burnley striker. What the hell's that?" But
only scored one goal.
He's not. I don't think he was bought to score goals. That's the thing.
No.
This is the problem sometimes when we as fans, we look at things and think, why has the manager bought that player? Why has the manager bought that player? Because they see something completely different to how we see it as fans. That's why we're fans and they're the manager. They see something different. He sees Virgil as that player, that link player that helps out, Bruno Fernandes running deep from midfield. It opens up the space on the wide areas. He's a player also drains centre backs' legs through a 90-minute game. It's a sensible transfer. It weren't a transfer where they didn't go. He didn't look at him and go, "Oh, he's going to give me 20 goals." No, that's not what he looked at him for. He looked at him for another reason. He sees Rashford as his main goal scorer. That's his main goal scorer. I think
he's bought him for his pressing ability.
Because, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think since he's come in, he's had like the third highest presses in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's what he's there for. Because that helps in the midfield to take the pressure off the midfield. Also, that Bruno Fernandes run into space, and drive with the ball. It's a clever bit of business. Yeah, he's getting it.
I don't know if you watched the Carabao Cup final, but I actually think he was probably one of our best players. I think if Casemiro were playing, he would have got player of the match, without a doubt.
Yeah, great cup final, actually. Really enjoyable final.
Well, probably if Casemiro played, we wouldn't have won. So
really enjoyable final.
Hey there, John Han. Thanks for coming in. I hope you are well. And hey there, Brush. Thank you for coming in. I hope you are well. We'll go on to the next question now. From Niall. I know this was years ago. What was the reasons Klopp's old number 2, who I was with at both Dortmund and Mans, left for? Did they have a fallout?
Oh, what? Yeah. So, yeah, Buvac and Klopp. So they were together forever, and Buvac don't like Pep Linders, and so no one likes Pep Linders. But yeah, apparently the rumor is Buvac and Pep Linders didn't get on. Pep Linders was used as part of the scouting team. He wasn't like the head scout or anything, but he was part of a scouting team that worked with the scouts, and he did like the he wrote up all the scouting reports and everything, brought them back to Klopp, and he was the middleman in between that. And then Klopp brought him back in because then he went to manage NEC or something like that in the Netherlands and did terribly. Then Liverpool brought him back, and Klopp gave him a coaching role. Also, Buvac liked playing that way of football we played when Klopp first came to Liverpool, and Klopp wanted to transition into Pep's ideas, into Pep Linders' ideas, and Buvac didn't like it, so they just fell out. And Klopp, that's all it was. We never really hear anything more than that because Klopp's never ever spoke about it. Buvac has never spoke about it. That's just what we know. I mean, Buvac's called himself the manager, when he was at Liverpool. It's just we never really ever know. I mean, but that's as much detail as we do know about it, to be fair.
That's fair enough. I'm gonna do one person per question. So as soon as everyone answers the question, so they got one each, and then I'll switch it round. Question from Luca. Liverpool with FSG right now. I do think they'll sell up. I think they were looking for investments from what I've heard. Why do people want Klopp out? Who can you replace with Klopp?
Right. Look, Klopp out. Let me do the FSG question first. So, FSG are not selling this football club. Why would you sell a profitable business? Makes no sense. I mean, Liverpool are the third highest revenue in world football. Why would you sell that? It makes no sense as a business person. If you own a business and their commercial revenue is the third highest in the world in that franchise, you're not selling it. So I don't blame them for not selling it. They need to go. Don't get me wrong. They do need to go, but they're looking for investment. So apparently there's a media company that own Formula One that want to. I can't remember what the media company's name is. It escapes my mind right now. But they own that media company that owns Formula One. So anyone knows that in the chat. That media company that owns Formula One apparently want to invest into Liverpool. So that could be a thing. I think Liverpool are going to get investment. It sounds like that's something that's definitely going to happen. So hopefully they put investment onto the pitch. Liverpool, I know a lot of people are like, well, why would a media company want to invest? So I think 20 years ago, Liverpool had investment from Granada. Now, if you're a Northerner, you know Granada. TV company that does Corrie and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, they invested 11% into Liverpool like 20 odd years ago. So it does happen. It does happen. With Klopp, right, I've got to be careful here. Klopp under FSG isn't replaceable because Klopp and FSG work very well together. Also, any other high-end manager, it will not be able to work under what Jurgen Klopp under what FSG run as a business. That's why Ancelotti never became Liverpool manager. We tried to get Ancelotti before Klopp, but Ancelotti was like, "No, I can't work under your the way FSG run a football club. It's just not for the top man."
But decides to go to Everton.
Yeah. Well, Everton actually, Everton gave him bloody more money than FSG ever did. But Klopp and FSG work really well together. So any other manager so I'm peed off with Klopp because I don't think he's doing a good enough job this season. I think he's managed this season poorly, and his coaching has been poor. His tactical awareness in mid-games is sometimes really poor. But he's still a quality manager. He's just having a shit year. But for some reason, Liverpool fans, once you question Klopp, you get your ear bitten off by the Kloppites, as I call them, the Church of Klopp, where you're not allowed to say one bad thing about Jurgen, like anything. It's all the owner's fault. Jurgen don't pick the team. He don't pick the you can't blame Jurgen for anything. So it is a very dicey situation where it is in our fan base right now. But look, Jurgen's had issues this season. He's having a terrible year, and he's mismanaged this team this year. There's no doubt about that. But replacing him under FSG is just not feasible. But I trust Klopp still. He'll get us back. There's no doubt about it. It will happen. But the man needs investment. So yeah, I'd say there's a 70-30 swing on the FSG. So 70% is FSG fault, 30% is Klopp's fault for not managing the team correctly this whole year, in my opinion.
Hey there, Helgon. Thanks for coming in. I hope you're well. It has been a while. I remember the bet. I haven't forgot either.
What's the bet? What's the bet?
I think it was something to do with trophies. I think that's what I'm thinking of. If it's the right bet. Andrew has said, "How far is Luis Diaz from fitness?"
2 weeks, I think. Yeah, I think he's about 2 weeks away. Yeah, I think Klopp was saying that he's running outside there and stuff like that, but he's not had a proper team training yet. So once he has that, 2 weeks. He was penciled in to be back for the Real Madrid second leg, which is like 2 weeks time. So yeah, not too long now, not too long. Be good to have him back as well because he's a diamond of a player.
He is a very good player. I think he was very, very underrated in the Portuguese league. So, I think he's absolutely shone in the Premier League under Klopp, and that's another example of Klopp developing players. Luis Diaz was another one.
Apparently Liverpool are looking at his younger brother as well. Plays for Porto's youth team at the moment as well. So yeah, I think his name's Jesus Diaz. So yeah, I think Liverpool are looking at him as well. So why not get the brothers in? Get the brothers in. If he's got a little bit of what his brother's got, then yeah, he's going to be a good player.
Oh, that's what it was. Frankie de Jong to United. Oh yeah, I said he wouldn't come. I remember now. I thought it was about trophies, but yeah, Frankie de Jong. A name I don't like to mention, but laugh at Frankie de Jong. He wanted to stay for Champions League football, to get knocked out into the Europa League, to then get knocked out by the team who you rejected for Champions League football.
Frankie de Jong will be a Man United player next season. I think that's Ten Hag's main midfield player he wants.
But for me, I'm one of them type of people. Once you reject us, you can do one. I don't want to know.
I'd be the same. If a player says, "No, I don't want to play for you because you're not in that competition," then don't come to us now. We're in that competition because, you should come to us because who we are, not because where we play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I know a lot of people laugh at Weghorst, for instance, but Weghorst actually wants to play for Man United. He cried that he won the trophy, and you want players who actually want to play for the club, who wants to play under the manager. You look at another one like Sabitzer. He's come from a giant of Bayern Munich, and even though he wasn't getting the game time, he still would have probably won the German league. He could have still got on the odd Champions League game off the bench, and he's done that to get game time at Man United. And he's even said he wants to stay permanently because he as soon as he got the offer, he said yes because he wants to work under Ten Hag. They're the kind of players you want. You don't want a De Jong who cares about a competition.
No, I agree.
Hey there, Statman. I hope you're well. Thank you for coming into the chat. Another question now we're gonna go for from Rather. I'm gonna pick one. Question for Jamie: can we play a back three with this current squad? I think you get exposed in a back three, to be honest. But
I don't know. I think we could, but Klopp. Jurgen don't like back. He said it many times in press conferences. People keep asking him this question. He said it many times. He hates a back three. He hates it. He said he plays it when he needs to as an emergency, maybe in a game when he got to send it off or something. But he hates it. He's never going to play a back three. When I look at Liverpool, I do think with our setup, a lot of Liverpool fans want us to play a back three because you could play Konate, Van Dijk, and Matip as a back three. Trent as a right wing back.
He'd play better there for me, Trent.
Which push you forward a little bit.
Forward.
And you got less defensive. Look, I've said this for a while now. Every English right back has defensive issues. Every single one of them, right? Trent obviously does. Reece James does. Walker does. But they're all better when they play three at the back and they're a wing back. Reece James said it many times. He prefers playing wing back than playing in the back four. Because in the back four, he has to defend more, which causes mistakes. Reece James with his mistake against West Ham. You know, they've all got mistakes in there, and I think they'll all be better as wing backs. And you know, Trent as a wing back would take that defensive pressure off him just a tad, having three defenders behind him, so the third centre back can, tuck in behind Trent, and you still got two there, and you can make better of it. Robbo as a wing back would be excellent. Then you could have a midfield four, and then you can have your three up front still. All our Liverpool fans have been asking to play it for a while now. But Jurgen won't. He just don't like three at the back. And he's the manager. But I do think if we had another manager with the players we got, I do think you would have seen three at the back this season.
Niall's got a question now on what's your thoughts on the brilliant Scottish young talent? Is it Ben Doak? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yeah,
who was signed from Celtic. Hearing he's burst on the scene at Liverpool, that hasn't put a foot wrong. I think he's on loan, isn't he?
No, he's bought and paid for.
Oh, I thought he went on loan somewhere, and then
no, Ben Doak's bought and paid for. He's a diamond. I just saw his goal today actually against I think it's Rangers in the Youth Premier League or something. He basically ran through the whole team, cut inside and scored. A beautiful goal that side of his foot. He's a talented boy. This is a serious talent here in Ben Doak. He's probably, I think he's Scotland's best young talent. Reece is in the chat. He might be able to tell me more, obviously being Scottish. But Ben Doak, for me, what I've seen, there ain't many better young Scottish talents around at the moment than this young kid. He looks brilliant. And when he's come on this season for Liverpool, he's looked so good. And you've got to be careful. Look, he's got a terrible Barnet. His hair's awful. Yeah, it's got to be sorted out, man. He's got to get your hair sorted, get a fade. But apart from that, he looks decent, and he's stocky as well. You can tell he's eating good Scottish grub. He's stocky. He's not one of our usually Liverpool's youth players all look like they have a meal plan of like Watsits and pot noodle. They're all like that thin. You know what I mean? There's nothing to them. Where Ben Doak looks like he's got something about him, and he looks a diamond, man. But he's only 16. You got to. It's hard sometimes when you see a very, very good player at a young age. You got to rail it back a little bit. You got to just chill. Yeah, Luca, Liverpool's academy, man. It's pot noodles and Watsits. I'm telling you, that's what they eat at lunch. That's what they eat at lunch. Have you seen our youth team, man? Stick thin.
From Ravi, do you think you have more squad depth than you really think from myself? I think we do have squad depth because we've got Sabitzer, we've got but the problem is why Man United fans were complaining was when it was the last day of the transfer window, we had Ericsson injured, we had Scott McTominay injured, and we got Donny injured all in the matter of weeks. And then that meant we only have 3 midfield players to play them for the entire season because Donny's out for the rest of the season. Didn't know when Scott was back and Ericsson was out till May. So I think it just caused that little bit of worry. We've got Scott back, not that he's got out of produce anyway, because I've seen actual toilets what produce better on a football pitch, and we've got Weghorst. I think that helps with Anthony Martial. So I think we do have the squad depth, but I think you can definitely tell the difference between a squad depth team, like a bench player starting and a starting 11 player starting, because you kind of want to be like Man City, where even your bench players could even be in the top 4. You want that kind of squad depth, I think, and I think that's why Man United fans are complaining. That's my opinion.
I've got to think about Man City squad depth. I don't think Man City squad depth is that great. I just think they've got the best manager in world football, and that's the difference. You look, they're having to play Jamal Lewis right now because they have no other fullbacks. I don't think their squad depth is as great as everyone says it is. Like, I know a lot of Man City fans doing this YouTube game, and they always say that Man City squad ain't actually that big. It's not actually that big, but what they do better than everyone else is they don't get injuries like everyone else does.
Yeah.
They manage their team far better than everyone else does, so they're playing more regularly all the time. I don't think their squad depth is outstanding at a world-class level, but what they probably got 14 to 15 quality players. But after
Yeah.
that, it does fall. You've seen some of the Man City benches this season. You see about 2 or 3 youth players on them benches. I don't think their squad depth is amazing, and I think United's squad depth is up there as much as anyone else's in the league. There's no doubt about it.
I think for me, it was just more like worry Man United fans in their head because we have 3 midfielders injured, and it was like, "Oh, we're gonna play. We can't just play the same midfield 3 till for many months." And
If you've got
especially
three,
when
if you've got 3 injured, that's 6 midfielders. How many do you want? That's just
well, there were
unlucky.
long-term injuries.
That's
They
just,
were
that's just
long-term, but
unlucky. That's unlucky. You can
yeah.
have if you've got 8 midfielders and unfortunately 4 of them get injured. It's not a squad depth issue, is it? You had 8 midfielders.
No.
It's just you just got unlucky.
Yeah, that's very true. Niall, would you sign Weghorst permanently? I'd happy to sign Weghorst. I think we're getting 10-15 mil. Brilliant squad depth. I'd sign Weghorst. Is he the best at his finishing? No. But does he
It's not what
produce
it's there
good
for,
link
is
up
it?
play? Does he produce a good pressing play? Is he good in other areas? Yes. Ten Hag is converting him into a 10. What manager in the world of football would play Weghorst as a 10? No, nobody would.
No, it's a clever bit of business. I just wonder, though. Depending, I think Ten Hag with this Man United team have progressed a little bit quicker than he might have imagined this season.
Yeah.
So, transfer targets in the summer might be different to what they are now. They might have changed. So Weghorst might be just for this season, but then he sees something that Weghorst is doing that he might be able to get for a bit more, a player with a bit more talent and a bit more about him that ain't too much money. But it all depends how much Man United have got to spend, because you keep hearing sometimes from some Man United fans saying that Man United are broke and they haven't got that much to spend
Well,
because
I
what
know
they've been
we're in
spending
debt,
lately.
but
Yeah, it's because of FFP, ain't it? Because Man United don't really sell a lot, do they?
no.
They don't sell a lot, and I think that's what Man United are trying to do now, is trying to make money back on some of these players to go again next season. So it'd be interesting to see what they do. But Ten Hag's definitely, I think, a season in front of where he thought he would be, no doubt.
Yeah, I think not that we're overachieving, but I think it was. I think in other people's minds, because I know you predicted us in the top 4, but I predicted us 5th, and I predicted us to win the Europa because I thought,
Yeah, that's a good season.
yeah, that's for me. It is a good season, and I said if we win a trophy, I'd be over the moon about it. But I never expected us to go to win the Carabao Cup and still technically be in all other competitions. I thought we
No.
would have been knocked out at least one. We'll finish off with the final question, and we'll have it from Rather, because I think it'll link in for both. Which team scores the first goal?
We have to. I've been saying, like, I think Liverpool have to. I think it's going to be an extremely fast start. I think it's going to be an extremely fast start. You got Rashford, who's on, he might be the most informed winger in world football. Sorry, Arsenal fans and Saka and all that, Jesus Christ. But, with Rashford, he literally might be the most informed winger in world football right now. So,
100%.
Obviously you got Vinny Jr. and stuff like that. There's no doubt about it. These are all quality players. But Rashford's in form. And Salah, I don't know how he's done it, because he's had a shit year. But he's got 20 goals in all comps again, scoring against Wolves. Literally, like, you see that graphic that every season he's played for Liverpool, he scored over 20 goals. For a winger, it's just mind-boggling. So, yeah, Nunes back in the team. I think it's going to be a fast start. I think it's going to be a mad, mad game. Liverpool have to score first, Ravi, as you would know, like, because our mentality is all over the place at the moment. If United score first in our own ground, we'll be a bit worried, ain't gonna lie.
I must be honest though, I think Liverpool will score first, but if they do score first, I wouldn't be over concerned. Only for the reason for this season, we have managed to managed to stay calm, and we still managed to win the games, like Barcelona, as most recently, and West Ham. What happened literally yesterday? We can literally come back from losing positions. So, and even at Camp Nou, we managed to get a 2-2 draw. But I think it is going to be I think it will be a tight game, especially. But if we did go to the fact that we was in losing positions, Andrew again with a good one there, Sitter. We was in Jack Grealish scored and then we got 2 goals. I know we scored a controversial goal which went all over social media, but I think when we are in losing positions, it inspires us a little bit to think that's it. We need to win this out.
Yeah, Liverpool, and that's the problem with Liverpool at the moment. Like you said right there, like you said it yourself. Like if even if Liverpool scored first, you still fancy yourself to come back and win a game. That against Liverpool, and that tells you everything about Liverpool this season. Obviously we all know what Liverpool Man United result was. Was it 9-0 in aggregate over 2 games last season? And it was just that it's not the same 2 teams this season. This is what everyone's got to remember. This is a far different Man United team who are better, and this is a Liverpool team that are completely fallen. And it's going to be a difficult. It's going to be a difficult. I ain't going to lie. It's going to be a difficult game for Liverpool. You've got Casemiro, who's in absolutely blinding form, the best DM in the Premier League. Yeah, I know Arsenal fans say it's a certain other geezer, but he's tremendous as well. He's probably second best. There's no doubt. Them 2 are the 2 best. I think Rodri slipped down a little bit this season.
I agree.
But them 2 are definitely the best 2 DMs in the Premier League right now. He's on blistering form. Rashford's on blistering form. You've got Varane and Martinez are in excellent form at the back at the moment. But Liverpool are a weird team, man. Liverpool are a weird team. Darwin could have one of his games. Salah could have one. It's hard, man. It's hard. I don't see us winning the game. That's for sure.
So, when Ravi, well, to be fair, every time Ravi predicts against us, I don't know if you know, we always win or draw. So he's predicted us to win, and he's trying to do this as reverse psychology.
There you go. Big
to be fair, though, he bet Barcelona to win at Old Trafford, and we still won.
Yeah, that Barcelona team is shite.
It was crap, but
I'm actually glad you beat Barcelona, by the way. And I'm obviously this is how much I hate Barcelona, that I'm glad Man United beat them, because they have been conning the world and stealing a living for years now, and they've spent money they couldn't afford. They upset every player they want to buy from other teams, especially English teams, upset them so much that the players can't want to play with their team no more. And now they're getting it up the arse. Yeah, fuck them. Go on, Maisy.
I was just going to say, hey there to Football Talk Podcast. I hope you're well. Thanks for coming in. You're right, though, Jamie. I completely agree with you, Barcelona. Like, I think I've seen this video where they had, like, secret money tree.
Yeah. Yeah, Barcelona just paying like Messi on like $1 billion a week. It was ridiculous, and they wonder why they got no money. And then they get Dembele they give Dembele a contract like ridiculous money when he doesn't play any football, and then then they buy players like
and buy refs.
Yeah, they buy referees, they buy players, they're in so much crap that stuff them. They deserve it.
Just a tiny bit off topic, because Luca thinks that we're not going to win the league. I don't think we will. But do you think Arsenal's going to win it?
Yeah, City. Right, I'm going to say one thing here, and people might have a go at me. And this ain't coming from a biased point of view, from a Liverpool point of view, or anything like that. But the league is shit this year. Let's get this right, yeah. I don't think the league's that good this year, and I think Arsenal have taken full advantage of it. Big up Arsenal. I literally think they have taken full advantage. Let's face it, I know City are second and can still win the league yet, but this ain't the same City team as last year. Does anyone actually fear playing Man City now?
I don't fear Man City.
I don't fear City, because they've changed the way they play too much. It's all on Haaland. And Haaland's made City worse, but Haaland could score 1,000 goals and he still won't win the Premier League. He's made City worse because Haaland's all about goal scoring. He's all round gameplays. I've said this for a while now, and people might come at me in this chat as well, but come at me all you want. Haaland is not a world-class footballer. He's a world-class goal scorer, and there's a massive difference. Haaland's all-round gameplay for me is not good enough at the moment. It'll get better because he's a young lad who's progressing in his career, so we will get better and better. But as we stand right now, I don't think he's a world-class player, but I think he's a world-class goal scorer. There's a big difference there. Alvarez is a young guy. Is he better than Gabriel Jesus right now? No. Would it be better if City selling Jesus was ridiculous. Letting Sterling go. Letting Sterling and Zinchenko go. No, I don't get, right? If Man United or a Liverpool manager sold their three best players, three very important, not best players, but very extremely important players to their team and sold them to their rivals, it'll be all over the newspapers, wouldn't it? As Man United and Liverpool fans, we know this, City do it. No one says anything. Oh, Pep knows what he's doing. Pep knows what he's doing.
Pep would never sell to people he's afraid of.
Yeah, exactly. All that crap. Now they're second in the league and they're nowhere near as good. This City team should be above Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. But Arsenal deserve where they are. They're going to go and win the Premier League because of it. But this league is not great at the moment. Look, if Liverpool finish fourth in this Premier League after how shit we've been, right, it tells you how bad this Premier League is because Liverpool should be nowhere near it. Liverpool should be nowhere near getting fourth in this league. Nowhere near it. But this league is not at a standard this year. And I don't think the quality of the matches either have been that great this year.
I think the World Cup's taken a toll on it, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah, it's just having when it was mental. It was mental. But Arsenal deserve to win the Premier League. Whoever is top of the Premier League deserve it. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that Arsenal have only won it because the league's terrible or anything like that. No, look at the points they're on. They probably, would they have got that points if like Liverpool and Chelsea are proper on song? Man City were the team they were the season before. Maybe not, but it'd still be really, really high in the Premier League. So, no, Arsenal deserve to be Premier League champions. They will be because I don't think City have got it in them to catch them this season. But yeah, big up Arsenal for winning their league.
Yeah, I completely agree with you in terms of the Premier League. It's been a very poor caliber, if you want me to be honest. You hear a lot of people say the Premier League is one of the best in the world, but it hasn't shown this season. It's one of the best in the world.
No, it's been poor. And look at the European competitions as well. I mean, it's just you got Chelsea who spent more money than it's just. I don't even know if Chelsea are going to be that good next season. I ain't going to lie. I think they've wasted a lot of their money. I don't know if I don't know how good this Mudryk is.
I think he's overrated.
I ain't going to lie. I weren't watching Ukrainian football. So, I weren't watching him play. And, I watched him in a few European games and all that. I watched the game when he was excellent against Real Madrid and Madrid fans gave him a standing ovation and all that. But 100 million on an 8-year deal. They've
got away with FFP for them at long-term deals.
Well, apparently they found a loophole that apparently no one else knew existed. You're telling me no one? No, the reason they did know existed is that no one wants to give players 8-year deals. Can you imagine giving Anthony an 8-year deal and he has 2 good years, and after that 2 good years, what do players usually do? They knock on the door and ask for a new deal, don't they? They want an improvement in their contract because they've had 2 good years. How can you give a player a new deal when they're on an 8-year contract?
They get a lot of money out of someone, though. They get like, for example, Enzo decides to put a transfer request in 2 years, they still get a crap load of money. They probably still make over 100 mil.
That's probably why they've done it to sell more than. I can't see them redoing deals on anyone who signed these contracts. So it is probably for the reason of they've got to make money back, and that's why FFP have gave them a let off on it because. There's probably no way any of these players are going to stay their whole contract.
And paying them in the instalments as well, because apparently they're paying out in 3-4 instalments for Enzo Fernandez.
Yeah, but that's more likely as everyone does it, isn't it? I think the only ones who don't do it are City. I think City majority buy their players outright, but most teams do pay install. That's like when you say Chelsea spent 600 million or whatever it is in the last 2 transfer windows. They haven't really. That's what the total of transfers have come to once they pay it all up. They probably paid more likely 70 million up front in all them deals. Not the actual 600 million, but that's how everyone does it.
Exactly.
Sorry. That's why net spend don't exist, right? That's why net spend don't exist. So let's just get rid of that one.
Thank you as well, Emmanuel, from watching from Kenya in Africa. Thank you for coming into the channel. Really appreciate it. We will wrap it up here. Thank you, Jamie, for coming on. It's been a great show.
Welcome. Brilliant. I loved it. Thank you very much for having me on. Really enjoyed it. Big up to the chat.
Would you like to tell us your score prediction?
No. No, I think it's going to be a mad game, and I think it's going to be 2-2. I think it's going to be a mad game. Liverpool, look, I'll take a draw. I'm not like the Palace result still pees me off because if Liverpool beat Palace, they'd literally be 3 points behind Tottenham right now, and still with a game in hand.
How are they there? They are.
They're not going to be there long. Don't worry. It's just that Palace result really pees me off. But drawing against Man United I wouldn't be too worried. I wouldn't be crying about that at all. But yeah, I don't see us winning the game. But I see it being a really big. I think could be a few goals in it because I still think both teams have got like Liverpool have obviously got deficiencies at the back, but I think Man United still have as well at times as well, especially in their fullback areas. You know, Shaw, as good as he's been, Shaw can just be caught daydreaming a little bit sometimes, and you know what, depending who's playing right back as well. So there is deficiencies there, but I'm going 2-2. I'm going 2-2.
To be honest, I had a draw in mind as well for Manchester United, just because of the form we've had at Anfield in the past, and I think for me is Anfield. It doesn't matter if you're a European team or a Premier League team. Anfield is a very hard a very hard ground to go to, and the fans, as much as it is a rivalry, you do have some of the best fans in the world at Anfield, and sometimes that is really your 12th man. I know people say the same with Old Trafford and every other team, every other ground, but I genuinely do think that with Anfield, and that's why it scares me a little bit. I don't think we'll lose, but I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw.
No, yeah, I can see it being a draw. It's just there's so much on the line in this game. You know, apart from like last season, it was quite an anomaly where the way Liverpool beat Man United in them 2 games. But these are usually quite tight affairs, ain't they? Liverpool versus Man United. I think a draw is either. I think one of the most likely result in most of the times these two play. So even when the Man United are up there, Liverpool were there, or the other way around, you know, it's always been very, very tight. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a draw.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Would you like to shout out your socials?
Yeah, so my YouTube channel, guys, is Jamie Phillips Football Chat. So you can catch me there, Jamie Phillips Football Chats. My Twitter is at Jamie LFC39. I don't really do. I'm too old for Instagram and that. I'm 40 now. I'm too old for all that stuff. So yeah, Twitter and YouTube is where you can find me, guys.
I've put your link in the description below, so if you haven't already, go and subscribe to Jamie. I don't know, Ravi earlier on, he did put your link in the actual live chat as well, so thanks for that, Ravi. Everyone hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new. I will be next live. I'm actually trying to think where I'm next. I'm next live on Sunday. I'll be doing a watch along for the Manchester United women game, because we do take on Leicester, so go and check that out. I'll be on Anfield Uncle Rod's channel tomorrow, so also go and check out Rod's show too. Have a lovely weekend. Take care. Bye bye.